It's 12:21 and you're still watching Powerline Southern Africa, your midday market reports. Now, addressing technology and innovation developments in South Africa, my colleague Hendrika Ngwana spoke to Dr. Thulani Dlamini, CEO of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, about the local landscape and some of the policies put in place to drive growth. Let's listen in for more.
I think we've made a lot of progress, but still, having said that, a lot of work lies ahead for us. We've developed capabilities, we've developed IP that we now need to transition to the point where we can start to realize the impact of the intellectual property that we've generated within the system. I think we've put in place good policies as well. Our Department of Science and Innovation under the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Innovation has put in place good policies, and one of them being, the Science and Technology White Paper, which came out recently, and the Decadal Plan, which supports that. And what is perhaps very pleasing is to see a much more stronger drive from government to ensure that we can use science, technologies, and innovation as a key enabler for economic growth and for industrialization within South Africa. Now, that speaks very closely to what the CSIR does, because the work that we do as a CSIR is about undertaking directed research and technological innovation to foster scientific and industrial development. And in our new strategy, we've placed a very strong emphasis on ensuring that we contribute directly and meaningfully to industrial development within South Africa. And you will know that last year, in October, we launched a special purpose vehicle in the CSIR wholly owned company with its sole mandate and purpose to commercialize IP coming out of the CSIR, working with our partners who will bring in the capital investment as well as the entrepreneurs that will monetize the IP coming out of the organization. So I think we've made a lot of progress. But as I said earlier, a lot of work still lies ahead for us.
I was going to touch on that tech transfer company that we just launched last year, because now you have mentioned, I just want to find out from you, sir, do you think we have gathered enough investments towards that it can help accelerate South Africa's technological footprint?
The potential is there. As an organization, we've earmarked 100 million rands that will be invested into this company, which we wish to leverage with investment from our partners in the private sector to at least 1 billion rands. So the potential is there. We sit with a very strong IP portfolio as a CSIR, over 250 patent families. But not only that, we hope to draw in IP from anywhere within the national system of innovation into this model of IP, entrepreneurs and capital to drive the realization of the potential that the IP holds for industrial development and economic growth of the country.
Now, again, I'm just going to touch on and ask, because the AI has taken a global space. Now, we've seen a whole lot of sectors, especially globally, including AI. Now, taking it back to South Africa, have we made enough efforts to include AI in our own sectors, specifically education? I'm not too sure if, in your view, you can help us understand how we can use AI to fast-track our own educational efforts and improve our educational quality.
Well, I'm not a specialist in education, but one thing that I can say is that we are beginning to see in various forms the application of AI in a number of areas. So that is already happening. We need to scale this up. We need to ensure that, technologies like artificial intelligence benefit the whole of society. Not that it's a technology that is reserved for a few. So there's still, again, even there, a lot of work that we need to do. We are currently working with the National Advisory Council on Innovation on developing an artificial intelligence strategy for the country, so that we can ensure that what we do in this area is guided by some kind of long-term strategic thinking in terms of how we think that as a country we can reap the benefits of artificial intelligence. But we must also be mindful that as much as there is potential upside in terms of the application of AI, there could also be downsides that we need to ensure are properly managed.
Well, thank you, sir. But on those downsides, what do you think are the risks that lie for us as South Africans and how we can mitigate those?
So we need to ensure that we've got the right policy regime, that we've got the right regulations in terms of the implementation and the adoption of some of the technologies that are backed by artificial intelligence. I mean, if you see things like, for instance, deepfake, so there are risks associated with the implementation of some of these technologies, and we need to ensure that we've got the right frameworks to allow for the proper use of these types of technologies.
Thank you, sir. And I just want to broaden our conversation just in conclusion. South Africa's footprint in the African continent. Have we made our chance at least to leapfrog our technological footprint and help the continent as a whole? Do you think we've made enough? Taking steps into making sure that we are leading ahead. Do you think, in your view, we are leading the African continent in order for the rest of the continent to be global competitors?
Indeed we are. I think we've got a very fortunate position that we have the capabilities in terms of infrastructure and human resources to be leaders on the continent in a number of areas. But we need to use this in a manner which benefits the rest of the continent and to leverage the capabilities that exist in the rest of the continent in terms of creating collaborative networks and partnerships that will ensure that we can use the capabilities that we have and leverage those of our partners to bring about change, to bring about development, to bring about prosperity in the rest of the continent.
And that was Dr. Thulani Dlamini, CEO for the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Now, moving right along,